But help me welcome to the stage Mr. Jay Kinder. Give him a hand.
All right. Okay, so first of all, it's a privilege to be speaking in front of you guys. So I have a ton of content that I'm going to share. I'm going to move pretty quick because there's a lot, and I chose to not leave some things out that I think are important as opposed to slowing it down and having less to share with you. So I'm kind of a mad scientist when it comes to this kind of stuff. So been here at EXP now for 18 months. If you know our story prior to that, coaching, training. Mike Reese, my business partner back there, we had about a $10 million company, and we shifted and moved everything into alignment to be at EXP. So it was a big decision for us. And as we've been doing it now for the last 18 months, I can tell you that listen to your leaders. We tend to over-entrepreneur things because everybody in this room is an entrepreneur. And this really idea came from the book that's on the desk there, Building an Empire from Brian Carruthers. It is absolutely a must-read material. But we kind of adapted that to kind of our philosophy, which is one big fire, which is, my whole life I've always wondered, like, man, wouldn't it be cool to be in business with Brent Gove? And wouldn't it be cool if we could all put our little fires together and make one big fire? Wouldn't that be cool? And we never knew how to do it because I think, we always joke, me and Curtis used to joke about it would be, Kinder, Reese, Stasek, Johnson, Gove, real estate company or whatever, because we have too much ego to be able to name the company, right? So, but this is cool, man. EXP has provided that opportunity. So, just want to talk a little bit about, what's going on and basically how to leverage this and build it big and build it fast. So, basically, these are just the business assumptions. So, when you're looking at the numbers, I always look at, well, here's my business assumptions. These are my numbers. So, yours maybe is a little slightly different, but this is what mine is currently. The average agent closes 7 transactions annually. That's in my revenue share group. The average transaction with all 7 levels unlocked is about $116, and each agent is worth about $812 annually. And my growth rate is pretty steady for the last 6 months at about 7% a month. So if you do the math on that, I'm doubling about every 10 months. Does that make sense? So, and that seems to be, for those of you that are, that have like 1,000, do those numbers ring true for you guys too? Yeah. Right? Okay, James says yes. So it seems like across the board, these are pretty relevant numbers. So what I'm showing you is absolutely what you should expect. Does that make sense? All right, so this is just a little graph. So assuming, an average of 812 per person, if you have all 7 levels unlocked, 5,000, 50 agents is worth, $3,000 a month. 5,000 agents is worth $338,000 a month. So just to give you kind of a scale of some of the numbers if you're listening and you didn't know what the revenue share check was, that kind of gives you a gauge for what you probably, some of these people are making some really big checks. And if you got, I don't know, I didn't even put 10,000 on here, Gene, so I can't imagine what the hell that is. That's amazing. So, right? So what's the difference between residual and passive income? So we've been in a lot of different businesses, not just selling real estate. When I used to sell a lot of houses, I'd sell 50 homes, but then I'd have to get up and sell 50 more the next month, right? So the clock restarts every month. Then we got into coaching and training, owned technology companies, a lot of different companies that had residual income where you're making, maybe somebody is paying you as a coaching client for 24 months, they're paying you consistently. When you're growing a company like that, I can tell you it's really fun for the first 24 months because you don't have a lot of people canceling. So there's not a normalization of attrition in that business model. And then once you get to a normalization of where your cancel rate is, let's say it's 11%, that's about what it usually is in a coaching business. You end up losing 25 customers a month, and you got to add 25 customers a month. Well, if you're real entrepreneurial like us, we got to sell more than 25. We ain't going to just stay where we're at. We got to sell 50. And so in every business model that we've got into, there's always a limit. There's always a ceiling to where you have to either, you have to try to push through to the next level. And that's where the biggest challenges come from. But I've never seen anything like this. Truly passive income that is compounding, right? Like this is compounding at a pace that is doubling annually and more than doubling annually. So it's just a better business to be in. So I would challenge you that if you're working in any business and you think the opportunity is in whatever it is you're doing, if you can, we had to do it. Try to transition as much of your time, effort, and energy into this opportunity and do it as fast as you can. That's what I would tell you, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is a little thing that somebody passed around, and then I swiped it and kind of created another one. But think about it this way: we had a pretty good sized business. Let's say, 10 million doing $1.5 million net. Me and Mike split that 750,000. After taxes, it's about 435,000. Let's say maybe we live on, Mike's cheap, he could probably live on 100,000. I got to live on about 300,000. But how many years would it take for me to put money away to create a passive income of just $50,000 a month, right? It would take, when I did the math on this, and it was 10 months into EXP, it would have taken me 24 years of the grind to be able to set aside the kind of money that it would take to create the passive income that I created in 10 months in EXP, right? So like that's how big this opportunity is. So, all right, so opportunity cost. So this is just basically doing the math in this scenario. 250,000. If I was living on 250,000, and I would have to have revenues of 136 million over 50 years to acquire that same revenue or the same amount that I'm earning in revenue share. So that's which direction why do you think we're at EXP, right? So we're not supposed to show this publicly to other people, but I'm going to say surely I can show it to you guys, right? Just don't take pictures and share it with anybody else, please. But that's basically the numbers today, right? Well, that's just because you want to take a picture. I'll try to get me in trouble. I'll share it with you. All right, so this is one of my biggest takeaways, and kind of as I've been analyzing this, and a lot of what I'm going to share with you guys tonight is we could have, if I'd have been applying this system and this process, I think we left millions on the table already, and I think everyone in this room is probably doing the same. So if it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. And that's the biggest challenge that I feel like that we all have, and our biggest opportunity inside the biggest opportunity I've ever seen is because we're entrepreneurial and we're successful and we can push anything through to success, we tend to try to over-entrepreneur things. And if it doesn't duplicate for your group, then if you can do it and they can't do it, then you're not building. You're building slow instead of building fast. So creating systems that are duplicatable are critical, and committing to them is critical as well. And so that's a new mindset you have to adopt. If it doesn't duplicate, then it doesn't matter. Just because you can do it doesn't mean it's going to help you grow. If you want to grow deep and you want to grow your organization big and you want to hit the kind of numbers that some of the people are making in this room, it's got to be focused on that. And this is just an example of exponential growth. So a lot of people don't really think about exponential growth and how things compound. But the difference of somebody, and actually this math is out of the book. It doesn't look right to me at the top because there's 3. But in the book, it basically shows if everybody recruited one additional person, this is the difference of what would happen after 12 months. If everyone in your group just had one additional person instead of one, they had 2. That's the difference in the exponential growth of that. So the importance of course, this is a real, EXP is a real estate company first, but every one of us and every person that comes in this company has 1 or 2 friends that they could bring on board. If we can make sure that we're focusing on getting those 1 or 2 people over, the difference in how this thing grows for you is unbelievable. It's almost unimaginable, right? So those are just important numbers. They're big. So, and this is a new mindset that I've adopted. I would suggest that you all adopt the same. And I had this experience a couple times with the people that are in my front line. Once you've been in the company about 12 months and you have a few people that didn't produce maybe. So has anybody experienced that, by the way? Had a few people drop out of your front line? Boy, that's not fun, is it, right? So I started focusing on those people, right? Hopefully you are too. You're focusing on trying to make sure they're producing, help them however you can help them. One of the cool things about this business model is that these people are your responsibility and your opportunity. They're not just your opportunity, they're also your responsibility, right? So you need to take care of them and make sure you can help them and help them so that they're producing and that they don't leave the company. One of the things that I noticed is that has anybody had anybody get a revenue share check in the first 60 days and lose their mind? Has anybody had that happen? Right? Like, if you want to make somebody really happy, give them a little bit of passive income. It don't have to be much. But if you get somebody to bring over a friend and that person closes the deal in the first 60 days, I can almost guarantee you they ain't ever leaving EXP. Right? So what Glenn did when we say it all the time, is like, he nailed the business model. My gosh, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He nailed the business model. And the cool thing about it is there's in this business, a lot of people get out of the business because they can't make it, right? It takes too long to get going and get into making some money. But if you can make just a little bit of revenue share, that might be the difference in that person being in this industry or not in 10 years, right? So it's important, not because, we're all here because we see the opportunity, but it's important for us to help our people that we bring into this company get into a little bit of that passive income so that they can be successful and stay in the company. And the new mindset that I've adopted is a recruit is not a recruit until they've recruited someone or I've helped them recruit someone. So I don't count until I help them recruit a person. And so I'm going to kind of go through the process that we're really starting to adapt to everything we're doing. So building oil wells in your organization. I'm going to get a glass of water. I think I got one right here. So something magical happens when you sponsor a couple of key people in your organization like Curtis Johnson. If you get one or two, you really get one really good person that focuses on this full time, and you couldn't stop it if you wanted to. That's a fact. And so it's important to get people. We call them generals. That's kind of the coined phrase that we use. We're looking for generals. And what we typically been doing is, as we bring someone into the company, this is drilling an oil well. You help John. You bring on John. You help John bring on Mary. You help Mary bring on Tracy. You help Tracy bring on Cindy, and Cindy brings on Dave. And Dave's a general. So you want to drive deep within your group. Every person that comes in has a group of people that you could talk to that you ain't never talked to. Their relationships that they have. And this was a missed opportunity for me. I totally missed this. It's amazing it grew as fast as it did. But had I had this mindset, it would have been completely different. If I would have taken every person and I got their list of people, and I'm going to show you the process for this. But if I talked to every one of their contacts and did the same thing with their group of people and leveraged those contacts and those conversations, I could have had a ton more conversations with new people does anybody have a problem of not even knowing who to talk to? Who am I going to call next? Is that an issue for anybody in the room? Right? The people that you have relationships, and sometimes some of the people that maybe aren't even interested in EXP have relationships that you could be leveraging, and I'm going to kind of show you how to do that. So, and here was the biggest aha that I got, and I had a conversation actually today where it just makes so much more sense to do it this way. I couldn't believe we're not doing it. And would you rather talk to 10 of the sharpest, most ambitious people that your new the new person that you just brought in talk to, or would you rather talk to just one person, 10 of the people that you've been calling on for the last 6 months? And I think I'd rather talk to the 10 people that are I haven't had a chance to talk to, right? Those were not people that I was looking at for how do I bring those people into the company. And so drilling deep until you find the next general, and it doesn't stop there. So inside, in each leg in your organization, you're trying to get to 3 generals. That's what you're looking for. If you get to 3 generals, you won't be able to stop it. That leg is going to go to 1,000 plus, and that's just what it is. So you want to drill deep, and there's a phrase, I don't like it that well, but I'll say it because it is kind of funny, but duds lead to studs is what he talks about in the book. And you don't know who's going to have that relationship. So you might go 2 or 3 levels deep on someone who may not be an influencer at all, but you never know who one of these people might know. And that's why you want to drill deep. So anchoring agents. So this is an important step in the process that we hadn't been doing. We did a little bit of this, but I think it's important. Having them have a success story, have a conversation with someone, and in the first 48 hours, sharing the vision of the company, Glenn's vision, with them. Get clear on what their big why is. If you want to motivate someone to take action, you got to still care. You got to genuinely care about them and what they're trying to accomplish and why they're interested in that in the first place. So get clear on what their why is. Be a champion of the company and share your testimonial. Get them their first recruit in the first week. And so there's a process for how to do this I'm going to go through. Get them their first revenue share check within 90 days. Get them indoctrinated into the system, Facebook group, workplace, definitely Facebook workplace, and EXP world. The EXP onboarding process has gotten so much better, but it's really important. What I found, I went through my entire list of my top 42 people that are in my front line to see how active they were and how engaged they were in Facebook Workplace. About half of them don't even have their picture on their profile. That scares the bejesus out of me, right? So if you're not in Facebook Workplace, it's the most amazing collaborative tool that I've ever used. It's amazing. It's incredible. And so, making sure that they're getting in there, they're getting into groups, they're getting engaged, and they're getting engaged within the company is a really important step. So don't leave that up to chance. I had been leaving it up to chance, and I can tell you that some of my people they're lost sheep, right? I got to shepherd them back in. So And then genuinely caring about, and making them feel special. So staying in touch with these people, text messaging. You can use automation for it. I've just been texting every once in a while. I think Rob probably has a plan for this. And anything that I say that's different than what Rob Flick says, do what Rob Flick says. I would just automatically default to that. So if anything I'm saying is a little different than Rob's, then go with what Rob says. But making sure that you're staying in touch with your people. Don't leave them out there and just assume that they're going to stay in the company forever. It's your responsibility to take care of those people. So launching your business. So we've been doing this, and we've been doing a really pretty good job of this. How many of you have watched a video on YouTube with me at some point or time since you've been looking at EXP? Raise your hand, please. All right, so you know how much it costs to do those videos? Not very much, but everybody in this room has probably watched one, right? So if you're not leveraging content as part of this process, having conversations, putting that content out there, you're missing the opportunity. So that's an aha, hopefully, for some of you to be creating content and putting that out there because people are watching these videos. So launching the business. So launching versus starting. And here was the big get. It's easier to build this thing fast than it is to build it slow, right? Yep. So does everybody in here want to build it fast? Yes. Well, this is how you do it, right? So you could give 20 presentations individually, or would you rather just give one presentation to 20 people? Would you rather go on, I don't want to go on 20 listing presentations. If I could get everybody all in one room, I'd rather get them all at one time, right? So this is a big leverage piece, right? It saves you 19 hours of time if you're giving hour presentations. It compresses time frames so that you can make money faster. It creates a better story to tell, which is important. And it creates synergy and building in waves. You're teaching leverage to those you recruit in the process. If you do it this way, then that's how they're going to do it. And so if you build slow, 1-to-1, then they're going to build slow, 1-to-1. If you build in a process and a system, then they're going to learn how to leverage that same process and system. Does that make sense? The compounding effect of that is growing massively fast or growing linear, right? So this is it's a big opportunity. So your business will grow exponentially instead of linear. What you do duplicates. So like I said, if you start off slow, they're going to start off slow. So the number one key to success in agent attraction is committing 100% to the system, man. Rob said this stuff. I went back and watched all the videos, and there's a checklist on here. I saw both. There's watch every Rob Flick video there is, period, everybody. And I went through and I read this book and I studied it and it was breaking down this building an empire. And then I went back and watched Rob's videos and I was like, that's all the shit Rob was saying. It was pretty amazing. So I had a lot of respect for Rob, a lot more respect because I understood that he knew way more than I knew. I knew that already, but I didn't know that he was following a lot of these processes. So I give him a lot of credit. But yeah, it's a system, right? This is what we got to buy into. If you buy into a system, then this thing works and it can grow really fast, but you got to commit to it. So people driven versus systems driven. So everything's going to hinge on your involvement, right? We all want this. We're doing this because we want leverage, right? So you can't be the one that has to give every single presentation. Meetings would only happen when you hold them. Presentations are only going to happen when you do them. Your revenue share group only gets trained when you train them. The only way to achieve true freedom lies in the fact that the business must be built and rely on a system and not you individually. Does everybody agree with that in principle, right? So, and I think because we're all pretty damn good at this, that's why we're all in this room. Sometimes we tend to lean on that, right? So, this is important. So, the system, first of all, I've never been this excited for this long a period of time. It doesn't seem like it's ever going to wear off. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but damn, I'm having a good time. You know what I'm saying? This is the most fun I've ever had. It's 18 months, man. So get fired up, man. Get people excited. And I don't have a problem with that, and hopefully you don't either. But the first part of this process is making the list. And the wealth chart, which I'm going to talk about with Rob's wealth chart, is the go-to system for making sure that you get a launch started. And this official launch call is a very important part of the process in the first week. Then the weekly lunch and learns, which we did not do any of those. We made grave mistakes here, and attend events. By the way, I don't know about y'all. We learn by making a lot of mistakes. I don't know about y'all. That's how I seem to do things. So there's a lot of things we did wrong, and we still had a lot of success. But these are the things that I see that are opportunities that probably hopefully will be valuable to you. So commit to working on your growth mindset daily. Surround yourself with positive people who support your vision. Set goals and track what you do daily. And you're selling EXP and our entire group. You're selling. There's not a problem that the people in this room can't solve for any real estate agent on the planet. You guys agree with that? Like, I don't care what it is you're trying to sell, how many houses you're trying to sell. I don't care what your problem is, whatever it is, the people, your group can help solve those people's problems. It's like I 100% believe that. So like you're selling that as well. That's a part of the opportunity. So make sure you're leveraging that and be relentless, right? Like, how many of you feel like this has been like the last 15 years of my life, right? Like, I don't care. I'm gonna get there. You watch. All right, so making your list, make your list at every real estate agent in your office. I think another thing, Rob made a really good point in his video, is making a list of your affiliates and leveraging those relationships, because they know before anybody else when somebody is pissed off and about to leave. And your list is your gold mine. Like, either you have a wealth chart printed out on the wall right now, or you don't. And I would challenge you to say, how committed are you if you don't, right? Like, you're either looking at it every day, or you're looking at it once a week, or you're not looking at it at all, right? So make sure that you have that front and center. It is the key thing, and it's maybe not as important for all of us at this stage, but it's most important to every person that you bring into the company. Otherwise, they're not going to get started, right? They're not going to see it as their opportunity. They're not going to focus on it. So, so this is the wealth chart. Print it out, pin it up on your wall, set your goals for all your levels, update it daily. And then this is another important thing. The people that, I don't get a lot of text messages, but when people text me that, I know they're serious. And even if you want to let your people in your upline know you're serious, just text them a copy of that once a week, that you're working on it. That'll make things happen for you magically. Just make sure that you're letting them know you're engaged and you're working on this, and this is important to you. And you'll see magical things will happen for you. So I put this in here just because it's been really helpful. I think a lot of people struggle with the invitation, right? Like, what do I say? So this is just a little process. This is actually from Eric Worre. It's part of his script that he uses. It's been modified a little bit. Eric Worre wrote GoPro, right? You should buy all his stuff too, by the way. So be in a hurry, give a sincere compliment, make the invitation. If I would you, which I love, and triple commitment, and then get off the phone. Basically, that's it. I'll show you what it kind of sounds like. So a simple script. I don't have much time, Mike, but I've always respected you and how you do business. Let me ask you a question. If I could show you a way to add a new revenue stream to your real estate business, would you be open to it? If I text you a link, this is the if I would you. This is just giving you an example. It's not like the script you have to use, but it's giving you an example. If I would you. So if I text you a link to a short video explaining the opportunity, would you take a look at it? If I could get you one of the top guys in the company on the phone, would you be willing to jump on and listen to his story? If I send you a video about the company, would you poke holes in it and tell me if I'm crazy? And so the if I would you is a really slick script. It really works really well, especially if you pay someone a compliment, right? So like, hey, I really love what you've been doing. I have a lot of respect for you. If I was to send you a video about this opportunity I'm looking into, would you take a look at it? It's really hard for people to say no. But the biggest problem that we had as we were doing this and talking to people was that what's the number one challenge? They didn't watch the video, right? So there's a little piece of this that I wasn't doing, and when I started doing it, it changed everything in terms of getting people committed to watch the video. And there's a lot of different strategies around, that probably work, but this is what I found to work for me, is this triple commitment. So if I send you this video, would you watch it, right? And when do you think you could watch it by? Don't give them the time. Don't say, hey, could you watch it tonight? Let them do the thinking in their head about when they could commit to watching this, and then and the next part is, so if I called you tomorrow, so they say, yeah, I'll probably go watch it by tomorrow morning. So if I called you tomorrow after 5 o'clock, you would for sure have watched it by then, right? Yes, right? So there's actually 3 commitments. They committed once when you said, if I send you a video about the company, would you poke holes in it, tell me if I'm crazy? If they say yes, when do you think you would watch it by? They give you a time. That's a second commitment. The third commitment is, so if I called you after 5 o'clock tomorrow, you for sure would have watched it. That's 3 commitments, right? So that little bit right there will 10x the amount of people that actually watch the video, right? So it's just a little thing. That's a little hinge that swings a big door if you want to have some leverage and if you've had challenges with that. So I just really like that script, wanted to share it. So, all right, so the official launch call. So when you launch your business, we're back to launching the business. And I actually got on a call with Brian Carruthers this last week, and he really is good. He's good at this stuff. So he was trying to sell Legal Shield, That's his deal. He's in, and he does exactly what he's teaching. I mean, it's impressive to see someone that has a model and then watch him use it on you. And so I'm just fascinated by that kind of stuff. But he did a really good job in his presentation as well, and I picked up a couple things that were really good. So first thing is scheduling this launch within the first 3 to 5 days in the business. There's a couple things that I would say. I believe that everyone that has some key relationships, we actually had this conversation today with Joey, and there's he's got a lot of really key relationships. And I'd rather get with his top 10 best relationships. He's got a ton of people that know him, respect him, that if he says, hey man, I got an opportunity, all he has to say is, I got an opportunity and I need you to jump on a call with me tomorrow night at 7, and those people are going to get on that call. Most people have some relationships like that in their life, where if you say, hey, this is important, I want you to jump on this call with me, they would do it, right? Would you guys agree with that? Most people have a handful of people that no matter what, they would probably do that. So this is the difference in building big and fast versus building slow. If you're going one-to-one, which is what I was doing, they would bring me somebody one by one, and some people would put them in my calendar, and some people don't, and some people get started, and some people don't, but that's how I was teaching them. I wasn't teaching them this process of doing a Zoom call with the group of your top people, and this is what Brian Crothers did too. So he puts you on a call, and the key here is it's got to be a handful of people that you're looking to partner with, and you want to edify. It doesn't have to be a rock star that's going to be the person that's in your upline that's on this call, but you want to edify that person, and you want to sell them better than you could sell anything. And it's the bathroom clothes, I think, is on here in a minute. And Rob shared the bathroom clothes with me. It was brilliant. So anyway, so we're going to invite everyone that you can get on this call. You get them all on the Zoom call. You pay attention to who's showing interest and asking questions. And you send everybody whichever video. Brent's video most likely would be the best one. Afterwards, and any other content that you want to share that's going to give them get them more interested in partnering with you guys, and then send anyone who doesn't show up a personalized link of the video, and then so you're coming in big for your first 10 or 20 or 30 people that they know, to get as a big a bang as you can. And then use three-way calls with the upline to answer questions. The three-way calls, if you're not doing that, that is a huge deal. Don't quit trying to sell EXP. You can't be trying to sell EXP. If you're trying to explain EXP, then you're doing it wrong. You have to sell someone else and let them answer their questions instead of trying to sell people the EXP. And the reason why is when people are listening to this business model, what are they looking for? They're listening for something similar. What is this? What is this? And as soon as they think they know what it is, they discount it as something it's not. Like they don't know how many people have you talked to that said they know and understand the business model, and as you try to explain it to them, you realize they didn't know anything about the business model, right? So and that's unfortunately or fortunately, that's the case for most people. So don't try to explain it to them. If you're trying to explain EXP's business model, then you're doing it wrong. That's a dead giveaway. It's not the way to do it. So use three-way calls and the tools. These are tools. These videos are tools to help you with a system, right? So if they're not sending videos, if they're not doing these processes, it's not going to grow fast. So here's an example of a script for that. So, hey, Bill, it's Jay. Look, I don't know if you knew this, but I needed to change. So I've been investigating an opportunity to take my real estate business and income to the next level. I ran across a really sharp guy that has been tremendously successful, and I think he's on something really big. This person I met is going to do a private conference call tomorrow night at 7. If I could get you a link to join the call, would you be willing to jump on and give me your feedback? Right? Simple as that. If you do that with 10, 15, 20 people, and you get 8 or 10 people on this call, I promise you there's some people in this room that if you leverage, they're going to get some people on for you. You know what I'm saying? That's how is this different than what you're doing currently? Yeah. Right? So this is bring it. Hey, we all win. One team, one dream, baby. One big fire. So that's what it's all about. So yeah, so hopefully this was a big get for you, because this is not how we were doing this. We were one-to-one conversations. And here's the key thing. You know what the easiest way to sell a real estate agent is? We sold a lot of real estate agents a lot of stuff over the years. You put a deadline, or you make it exclusive, and they will buy. Okay, that's just real estate agent. We're all by nature. We used to buy multiple platforms. Like we bought Tiger Lee's, Boomtown, and every one of those platforms because we didn't want another agent in our market to get them before. That's how real estate agents operate. So if you get a handful of people on that call, and we're looking to partner, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to get your relationships. I'm going to help you build this. We're going to do a call just like the call we're doing, the same call I'm going to do for you, and you. But we're looking to take this to the next level, and we're looking just for a handful of people that want to be a part of this. And it's more exclusive to the handful of people that, that decide to jump on board. That's another little tweak that makes a big difference in people's perception of being sold versus being selected, right? So it's kind of more of a private call with the people that were personally invited, and that's kind of the tone of the call. Does that make sense? It's good stuff, right? It's not me, man. I just read the book. You got the book right here. All right, so keys to success. Be enthusiastic. Keep the presentation brief. He says this all the time. Facts tell, stories sell. And if you listen to Brian Carruthers' presentation that he did, at every single point he tells a story. Every single point he tells a story. And that's another thing that I hadn't been doing in a lot of the explanations of EXP. I wasn't trying to tie a story, but you should tie a story to every single point that you want to make. He does a really good job of that in his presentations. So painting the vision, send them the agent attraction video, and the why partner with us. That's just one that we use. Follow up with each person to get their questions answered, and keep your wealth chart updated. But the key is that one person, that you just brought on is drilling that oil well deep with them. Those 4 people or 5 people that decide that they're interested or get on a call, you do 3 ways with those 5 people. You do launch calls with them. You drive deep, 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 and you're going to find somebody that's a general. You're going to find another general, and then you do that 2 more times. That's the model. You guys follow me? It's a model. If you do this, you build big and you build fast, right? So weekly lunch and learns. This is another key part of the equation that we just hadn't been doing, and quite honestly, I think we are now though. So that's the good news. So once launched, this is the weekly recruiting live presentation. It's important that to get people together, especially since we don't have bricks and mortar, and there's not really a place for people to kind of come together and be around other agents within EXP. This is just an opportunity for them to also bring their people, consistently be bringing people into the lunch and learn. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't just send out a video to watch. He created a movement by getting up and speaking and talking to people, and we want to be able to do that in your marketplaces. And some of you are doing this really, really well. So I would say go find those people that are doing really well with this and copy what they're doing. So you'll also be able to introduce your prospects to other agents that they can relate to, and a lot more conversations can be had, and it makes it easier for people to ultimately make a decision. So, and you don't go to church to find your faith, you go to strengthen it. So that was another big get, right? So a lot of people come on board. We don't want them to lose any enthusiasm and momentum. You're coming to these meetings consistently to make sure that you're staying with it, right? Don't let them venture off and not come to those weekly meetings. And it's a system to plug into, right? This is a system. So people have a friend, that you can bring somebody to that. You should also have a live call, like we do one every Thursday at 1 o'clock, where we do the presentation live. So like you have places that you can plug people into the system, right? So there's never a time where you can't get somebody to go plug into either a lunch and learn local or onto the live one that's done weekly. If your group's not doing this, you should be doing this for your group. That's what I would tell you. Thank you. Appreciate you, boy. Hey, I'm learning from you guys. I appreciate y'all. So three-way calls. This is really just a way to get leverage. Edification is a big deal. And this is the bathroom close, so the bathroom close. I should let Rob tell the story, but he shares the story with me. The bathroom closes, and this is when you can imagine maybe when we were all single and whatnot. But whenever you had you guys are all gonna. I'm not even sure I should tell this now. This may not be the right room, but I'm gonna do it. Huh? Yeah, everyone needs a wingman. And if you know Mike Reese, man, Mike Reese is the best wingman you could ever ask for. I will tell you that, because Mike Reese will try to make you levitate, right? So Mike was really good about edifying. Like I wouldn't say I'm great, but Mike would be telling people how great I was, right? And that when you edify someone like that, and people look at him different, right? So you want to make sure that you're telling that story and you're edifying the person that you're going to put them on the call. And be like, listen, you need to meet this person. You ain't going to believe it. They're going to be able to change your world. You aren't going to believe it. If I can get you on a call, you would be lucky if we can get on a call with this person. So make sure you're doing that and getting them on those calls. So it can be anyone in your upline, doesn't matter who. It's duplicatable, so anyone can do this, right? So everyone should know who they're going to go to, the 1 or 2 or 3 people they're going to go to, they're going to edify to put people on these 3-way calls. Never try to sell them yourself. always try to put them on a three-way call. Position them as the expert and the person that, that can show them how to make the big bucks. And someone worthy of their time and attention. So, invitation script. So, hey, man, I'm glad you're interested. Now, I'm relatively new to EXP, and because I respect your time and expect you would want to get the most accurate information from the best source, I'm working directly with one of the top guys in the company. He knows how the big money is being made here. You'll love him. He's fun. He's easy to work with, but most importantly, he genuinely wants to help you win. If I could get him on the phone, would you be open to talking to him? Right? So that's a little three-way script with the if I would you at the end. Three-way script. So this is the three-way script. Wait a minute. I may have two. All right, let me read it. All right. I'm glad you're interested. That's the same one. So I think I made a different one. I edited it. Yeah. Yeah, I did have that, right. All right, so three-way call agenda. This is another thing. I didn't know what you're supposed to do on this three-way call. That could be an hour long. I've been making mine all in 20 minutes or less. Share your background story about why you joined. Tell your story. Everybody has a story. It's going to resonate with somebody, but people listen to stories. Mention the success you've already had. Mention the many success stories across your entire group. Be relatable. So, what did it solve for people in their situation? So if it's an agent that's new that didn't have any leads and you got a good story about someone who got KV Core and is killing it with lead generation and really took their business to the next level, tell that story for that agent, right? Be relatable to what it is and who they are and what their situation is. Make sure you have enough stories banked that you can tell a story based on that's going to relate to who they are. Ask what questions they have. Let them know the next step. This is the next step. There's another follow. There's one little important little thing I don't have in here I want to share. So one of the things that I used to make the mistake when I get on the phone, and I'm on the phone all pretty much, 6, 8, 10 calls a day some days. And so I get to practice a lot, right? So I kind of enjoy it. But when I get on the call, I would say, so, what questions do you have? Well, that's a stupid question, or what did you think? That's another stupid question, because they might not be good thinkers. We don't know. So, and anybody talk to somebody like that? Yeah. So why don't you ask them, what did you like about what you saw, right? What did you like about what you saw? Because then they instantly go to the thing that they're most interested in, and now you know what track you're on with them. You know what got their attention and what they're interested in. I've had people tell for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, talking about how they didn't care about the revenue share, and I'm like, I get to the end of the conversation, I'm like, well, if you were gonna even do this, why would you? And they're like, well, it would probably be for the revenue share. I'm like, well, this whole time you've been telling me, that wasn't important to you, so I was being misled. But if you start with this, you find out a little bit more about what their really interest was, what they saw that they were interested in. So that's a good little get. All right, so if they're not ready, get them to the next engagement. Setting up the next engagement is huge. It's never no. This is what, I don't know what everybody else's experience is. This is what happens when I know somebody's good to go, they say, they ask me, okay, so what's the next step? Right? A lot of you in this room have said that to me. I know Vincent did. Vincent said it. So that's when you know somebody's got enough information, they're ready to move forward. So if you don't get a what's the next step, then I like to go back to this, back to the thing that they were most interested in. So let me ask you this. How much money a month would you need to be making a revenue share for you to say this was a no-brainer decision a year from now? They'll tell you a number. It'll be a number that's pretty reasonable usually. And say, well, I think what we should do next is set up another call and let's break down a plan for how we would do that, right? I had a lot of people that I got on the phone and they just went off into the black hole because I didn't have a way to follow. I didn't have a next step for them. Right? So the next step is that next engagement. You're always setting them up for the next engagement. Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you come to the lunch and learn on Thursday? Well, how about this? Why don't we jump on a call and we'll go through the math and we'll see if we can figure it out. Right? You're always setting up the next engagement. There's never a no. All right, so recruit to invite versus invite to recruit. Another little angle that I thought was really cool. Option 1, you can invite 5 people this week to a lunch and learn, and one's going to show up and you might get 1 recruit. Or option 2, you recruit an agent earlier in the week, you get that list, that fresh, untapped list of 20 to 30 people, and you work on that list to get another 5 or 6 people to come to the lunch and learn. And that's, these systems, if you have them in place, you see how this thing can start to grow massively, much faster. It grows fast anyways, but if we were all doing this, we're creating systems where everybody can win faster. So I thought that was a pretty good angle to do. So when you think about lunch and learns, and they start to kind of you start to get discouraged doing kind of was what the feel I've got from a few people that have done them. And a handful of people are showing up, but we didn't have a way, like, who else am I going to call? Man, I call those people every week. You know what I'm saying? But you always have a list of people. Your new people is a new, fresh list of people to get to those lunch and learns. So just make sure you're leveraging those systems too. And then do the same math with everyone in your group, and showing them the opportunity and making sure they're getting people to these lunch and learns. So recruit through versus recruit to, another good one. Recruiting to means that you're recruiting them with the goal of getting them to come on board with you. Recruiting through, let's say you recruit an agent that maybe they're going to join, maybe they're not, maybe they're not the most ambitious and they're not going to be really focused on it, but you're recruiting through them. And they have contacts, they have a list. And if people don't set you up, like some people are going to say, yeah, I'm going to get you that list of 10 people. I'm going to schedule my official launch call with you, and that's going to happen. And a lot of people aren't going to do that. Would you guys agree? So what are you going to do with those people? You going to just not help them? Nope. You go get that list from them. You say, give me the damn list. Get me your list. I'll work through them with you. So don't give up on those people, right? They have relationships of people that I know that we could help, that could join this company and we could change their life. You owe it to them to make sure that those relationships get on the phone with you, right? So that again is another list of people an untapped list, right? Go ahead, Curtis.
So how do you put that together where you're working their list? How are they edifying you in that?
Right.
Or are you going
there's a text, and there's actually just a real simple text message that you can send, or an email, or call in and saying, hey, there's actually a script. Maybe it's here, maybe not. Maybe it's in the book. I know. There's a little script for it where you just have them send one. Hey, I got one of my mentors, that's a rock star that's going to reach out to you. It's urgent. It's important. I can't remember how you say it. It's important. Oh, it's important and it's private. And so if you would just please take his call. Right? It's important and it's private, and just, if you would, please take his call. If they'll just send it that text message, then the door's kind of opened up, a little bit for that. All right, so creating urgency. If you can't create urgency, then people will not take action. FOMO, fear of missing out. This is something I've seen work a lot. It's actually really impressive. How many of you have mentioned? We don't know what country we're going to next officially, so let me say that first. But dangling that little carrot of, we might be going somewhere. Do you know people in this market? And that person gets real excited and gets real serious real quick. So you can leverage some of the things that are coming, and you want to be very upfront about what you know and don't know. But if you know that that's an opportunity for them, and that really lights their fire, there's a good way to get people to jump in early. You don't want to be late. You'd rather be first. So even though some of these markets aren't open, if people have relationships in some of these countries that we may be going to, that's a huge opportunity for them to get in early and start talking to those relationships and open up a country, which I'm excited about doing. So let's prospect know you're meeting with several others in the market, and you're looking to partner up with the person that really you feel like is the best fit. So this is something we did really well with our partner program. Is when we're looking to partner, we're going to talk to a handful of people, and we're looking to who's the right partner for us to build with here, right? That's a little different conversation than trying to convince someone to join EXP. So that's a couple angles there. So welcome call, making sure that everybody gets a welcome call, 2 to 3. Get new people on 2 to 3 welcome calls, ideally with people in your group that can relate to them or even help them with where they're at in the business. 5 to 7 minutes max. Tell your story. Ask them for their why. Paint the company vision. Then for the recruit's future, explain and book their OLC and tell an OLC success story. So like these welcome calls, you should be leveraging someone in your group to schedule and the system. This is the process. Here's what we're going to do next. So it's not just you telling them. Now someone in your upline is also telling them this is the process. So get them started filling out their well chart. Promote the training classes and weekly lunch and learns, and then edify their sponsor and the two full-time upline leaders they will be working with. So yeah, so any of the leaders that are in their group that they would need to reach out to, like who are the people you need to know? These are people you need to know if you need anything. Yeah, that's the official launch call. That's that first launch, right? So that first call that you're doing with that group of their relationships that they get you, and they jump on that Zoom call. So yeah, so that's that. And that's it. That's all I got. Cool. Thanks. Question? Yeah.